Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to be talking with Darien, who I've had the pleasure of working with for, God, I don't know what, 7 or 8 months at this point, somewhere around there. It's been a bit. And he's just been an absolute pleasure to work with. His agency is just growing tremendously, even in these rougher times. So I thought he could give us some great insight into what he's doing and his background and how he's charging through this. So Darien, if you don't mind, I'd love for you to introduce yourself a little bit, give us a little bit about your background and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So my name's Darien Marion-Burton. I'm the president of DM Burton. We're an agency based out of the Chicagoland area. I graduated with a BA in business management and marketing in 2011 from Augustana College. Immediately after school, I actually went into fashion sales and worked at Nordstrom for about 6 to 7 months. So almost $250,000 in shirts and ties during that time. So,
wow.
Really cool accomplishment there. Decided that I was tired of standing on marble floors all day and not eating food, because that's how the fashion world goes. I decided to go to corporate America and started at a fintech startup. I moved from support to sales to the director of marketing over a 2-year period. Really fell in love with marketing. I was always told I was a natural salesperson, but I always kind of felt a little more at home with the marketing department. It's more of the idea selling. And then a couple years ago, I decided that I was done working for someone else and decided to start my own path, and DM Burton was born.
Wow. So what made you decide to go the entrepreneurial route, and start your own agency? It's obviously a bit different.
Yeah. So it's, the decision wasn't all mine. Me and my CEO had gotten into a very heated discussion about something, and I was very passionate about leading our marketing one way that wasn't his vision, and we decided to end things. And so I was like, all right, like I'm jobless for the first time since I was 14. And I took about 2 days off, and then I woke up on that third day and I was like, all right, we should put a plan together. Like I have to have something to get through this. I only have so much money in savings. And I wrote a list, and option 1 was start a business. And I was like, okay, well, what's some more tangible options here? Work at a restaurant and start a business. And then one was like, go to corporate America. Half of these ended with me starting a business. And I was like, all right, well, I've always felt like I was a natural born leader. I've always wanted to be the boss, and I do love leadership roles. And I was like, well, why not? We started as a fashion consulting firm, believe it or not.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was going to change the world through making everybody look better. And we were going to take on Trunk Club.
There you go.
That quickly changed as we started to develop that program, and things worked, and we got clients, and it was kind of a peer-to-peer version of Trunk Club. We got a really big marketing client. I'd always said we could style your business. There was one line on our website, and somebody took us up on that. One of our first contracts was for a franchise of the national organization Pedal Pub.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it was really exciting. And yeah, I oftentimes say this is my accidental marketing agency. Looking back 20 clients later.
Multiple pivots. So it sounds like there wasn't necessarily, the business has definitely changed from its inception.
Yes.
So how did you land on the services that you currently offer, and why did you choose those? And I guess for everybody watching, what services do you currently offer?
Yeah. So we do social media management, obviously. That's kind of our bread and butter. Email marketing, web design, and then general brand design and marketing. And we settled on those because, as someone with a background in fashion, I'm very into making things look very aesthetically pleasing.
Mm-hmm.
And those are all the areas of marketing where those things come to the forefront. Not to bash any of my friends who run digital marketing agencies. I totally get SEO and SEM, and those are all so important. But I really don't want to look at words and code things differently. That's just not really what my passion is. And And I just don't think it's where our business's strengths lie. You know, the people that work for me all have some type of very creative background. And, you know, I think those other strategies are more of a analytics thing, and we do them. It's not my thing though, and I don't even touch those accounts. I call our director of digital marketing. I'm like, yo, bro, can you handle this? So yeah, we decided on that. Like I said, I think it's all pretty things based, right? We want to cultivate a culture of cool for our clients and really force them to innovate their businesses in new ways to reach new audiences.
Yeah. And it sounds like you are pretty skillful with design. And I know that to be the case, just having seen your stuff before. So it fits pretty well.
I feel so cool.
Yeah. Listen, so cool. This is going to stop right after the recording. So take it while you can. So do you focus on any particular sectors then? Obviously, there's certain ones that are more aesthetically pleasing than others, or are you kind of more global?
So we're global, and it's one, I think that from using that sales part of me, I think that separating your strategy into verticals and going after people is a smart idea. But I think especially for your first 20 to 30 clients, like it's really hard to do that, right? Because you're turning down money at that point, and like it just doesn't make sense. I also think that just because a business is in the same vertical, it's not mean they need the same things.
Sure.
You know, we work with 2 chambers of commerces, and they're literally separated by a street. What we do for one chamber is so different than what we do for another chamber. And like, if we just had a strategy where we were going after chambers in general, creating a bulk of content and just filtering that out to those chambers, it wouldn't work. You know, I think that we really like to get to know our brands, and that's another one of the things that we do a little differently. So yeah, no, I just don't think that it's really the way to go. And eventually we'll have to do that from a marketing spend standpoint, and can't just do a general Google ad. But right now I just don't think it's what that's not our jam.
Yeah. So when you get a new client, how do you go about learning and I guess what do you need to know about that client in order to build your marketing plan and to be able to do a good job kind of emulating their voice, but just in maybe a better way than what they were previously doing?
Yeah. So we have a rule that you can't, and this has changed during COVID. I used to say you can't sign an agreement with us until I've sat down and had coffee with you. And you know, most of our deals come from peer-to-peer referrals, word of mouth. We're really big with our chambers and doing local marketing things. And if you don't know who you're working with, one, the business, but also the entrepreneur, you really don't have the ability to talk for them. So we ask a lot of very high level questions, you know, like the very typical, like, tell us like your 5-year plan is, you know, a list of very high level questions. We then go back, we prepare them a custom proposal, and we really try to address the things that we talked about for them. And then once they're onboarded, we actually do a champagne consultation. One, because I mean, why not? But two,
Fair.
I think people like, we start to get into those more in-depth things, you know, why did you come to us? What really, you know, this is what I'm thinking. What do you think about it? Like pitching them like some of our ideas just to see where they're at. And sometimes I say something that we know we never do, but I kind of want to know if that client's going to push back on it. I kind of want to know what our relationship's going to be. You know, I think that's a really big thing. So yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I know one question a lot of our listeners are probably going to have is how you go about finding new customers. It's obviously something you've done a good job at. So are there any specific channels that you found to be more successful than others?
So, you know, I think that especially for us, we use LinkedIn a lot. We're always constantly posting on LinkedIn, and that's especially now. I'm talking a lot about it because there is no way to go out and do that in-person prospecting. Before COVID-19, I'm very into like talking to people and networking. So me and our other salesperson, we have kind of a quota of how many networking events we need to be going to. We kind of tie that back to getting business cards and figuring out if people are a good benefits. We're heavily involved in our clients' businesses. So for us, I think that if we were to start doing things and getting a lot of leads from Google AdWords, or just kind of general Facebook ads and things like that, I think that it'd be hard for us to transition our strategy. And so we stay with more of those local things. We're a diamond member of our Chamber of Commerce, and that literally there's no other marketing agency in our Chamber of Commerce.
That helps, yeah.
We work with, another Chamber of Commerce whose village just brought us on as a client. And it's about connecting people and making these referrals happen for us. And we wouldn't get any of our deals that we've closed during COVID-19 had I not been friends with so-and-so, or had so-and-so not heard about our business prior to all this happening. And it's really just getting your name out there, right? Like doing everything you can. I remember when I started this, I was sitting on a golf outing committee, which sounds like absolutely crazy. Like, what does a golf outing have to do with like us growing our business? But I was in a room talking about social media, what the chamber was doing, and how we could leverage things for this golf outing. And 2 days later, I got a call from someone who was in the group that owned a multi-location physical therapy office. And he was like, I think you're brilliant. Like, I want to work with you. And I was like, oh, really? Like, all I said was that I didn't like that idea.
You never know. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's turned into one of our like biggest clients. Like, we manage 5 of his practice locations, and, it's great, all because I decided to sit on a chamber board and get involved with things.
Yeah, I think that's super important. I think it's definitely something that people don't do as much of now as they should. I think everybody tries to rely on just the ads, and they lack that kind of in-person connection. What would you say? Go ahead.
I think that's what it is that I think people are like, oh, like, I'm going to meet 5 people at this networking event, and they don't realize this is like that one person knows somebody. I mean, we got a call from somebody I met in February, and they're like, hey, like, I want to introduce you to my friend so-and-so. And I was like, that sounds fabulous. Yes, I will take their money. You're amazing. And then I send them a box of cookies.
Yeah. Well, let's do that. Have you ever actually turned down a client? And if so, why? These are sometimes, I feel like these could lead to some good stories from time to time.
So I have 2 stories.
Oh, geez.
Both are really funny. So one of our first clients, I did not turn them down. In the back of my brain, I knew something was up. In the back of my brain, I was questioning how they were going to be able to afford us. I was like, you know what, Darien? Like, you need the money. Like, just go for it. It was about a $30,000 contract. We got paid for 15 of it. I have not seen that other 15. And, it's somebody who they were a seasonal business. We got to the end of their season. They said, oh, well, we're not really operating, so we don't think we should pay you. And I was like, well, is that really what this contract
works?
And then they literally said, well, I'm sorry, like, you were really good at your job, blah, 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 but this is how business works. And I was like, well, it's not how business works in like my world. And, I think I should have listened to that little voice that was always in the back of my head. But I didn't. And, luckily we were still in agreement on the account, but like, that's $15,000 in projected revenue.
Yeah, that hurts.
It's not great. And then the other one I actually did say no to, because this guy was outrageous. We like to work with small businesses. I tailor our pricing to be a little lower than the competition's so that we can do that and do it effectively for people. And, I was like, all right, so like social media is going to cost you this, and email is going to be this, but like we can do your social media and email for $500, and like this, and this. I'm like, great, sounds lovely. He calls me and goes, oh, well, I was wondering if like, there was some wiggle room on the price, and, if, especially for the first 3 months, maybe we could work out a different price where you can like take a percentage of revenue. And like, me being the business person, I was like, well, I am totally fine with splitting your revenue with you. Send me over your profit and loss statement from last year so I can make sure we're making some money there. But emailed him. I was like, all right, so like we can do like a 10% revenue split and like blah, 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 blah. And this a new business, this some kind of recurring business. And he goes, oh no, I just wanted to give you like 5% of the sales and that was all. And I was like, not how this works.
Yeah.
I can't guarantee results, bro. I can just make very, very, very good calculated decisions. And I was like, yeah, no, we just can't do business.
Yeah, I feel like some people don't operate in the same business world that the rest of us do, and it's very confusing.
Yeah, no, I'm like, and it's not the first time I've heard I was talking with a prospect yesterday, and he's like, yeah, we paid $99 for our SEO, and I was like, well, first off, I don't even like SEO, so you saying that to me makes me really, really hurt inside. Second off, like, I can't do that. Like, we can stop this call right now because someone's going to tell you. The answer is no. Like, and, we get into this whole, like, I think there are all these agencies that can do social media for $100 a month or $25 here and there. And, that's a business model for some people. It's just not our business model. And I think that we've had to stay true to that and think about that. And it's hard turning down money, but you got to.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a lesson that you learn a little bit later on. I know early in my career, I would say yes to pretty much everything that I had the opportunity to, and then you start to learn that doesn't actually work.
Yeah.
What would you say is your favorite part of running an agency?
Ooh. I feel like it's a time between signing a contract.
That's a good time.
And launching a project.
What is it about launching a new project that you find particularly exciting?
So it usually happens that I'm finishing it at 3 or 4 in the morning. And like, it's such like a cerebral feeling when I'm like, this is done. I send the email to the client and like, I usually look back at the work and I'm like, wow, like I literally say, wow, we fucking did that. Like, like I'm like, usually I'm like, look at us go. Like, this is like, you get so involved in a project and you're working on all these small things and you see these things on a daily basis. And especially when we're doing web design, we're like looking at a month-long thing and back and forth and all these things. And sometimes you don't get to look at the whole product until the end. And you're just like, wow, like this all came together so beautifully. Like, I'm so proud of this. And it's a good feeling. Like, yeah, I can take on the world. Probably took a nap though, because it's 4 a.m.
And you get to like see the results of, a months long efforts. And totally. That makes sense. So kind of shifting things right now, obviously we're in the midst of the COVID pandemic and it's impacted the agency space tremendously. I know that we've seen some of our customers go out of business overnight from this, and large agencies. So how has your business been impacted? I know that you've actually managed to grow during this time, which is pretty crazy. Is there anything that you feel like you did prior to COVID that really set yourself up to be successful even through times like this?
So I think that we've always tried to be kind of a locally driven, price-friendly firm. And so I think that people as consumers are looking for 2 things right now. They're looking to support local businesses, and they're looking to not spend all their money because they don't know when they're going to make more money. So we just actually signed an agreement with the Village of Forest Park. I think that they were looking for someone local. They were looking for someone that's going to be cost effective. So I think us positioning ourselves in that manner was key. I also think that we build relationships. Before I started this business, I was involved with numerous amounts of other networking groups, and I kept those while we still made all these transformations and kept going. And, I have friends who are 80 years old and sell insurance and sitting across the table from like 40-year-olds who run other agencies and just trying to have that conversation with people and getting to know them on a non-business level. My friends are some of my greatest referral sources. Can't tell you any time somebody's like, oh, I'm looking for a website and we get tagged on social media. I think it's small things like that we've done over time to really grow our business in a sustainable way that's allowing us to make these strides now. And I mean, we've brought on, I want to say in the last 7 weeks, probably 5 counts. And, it's all because we knew someone, or, one of them actually was, they saw something we put on social media about doing free consultations. And, so I have to give some credit to that. But, mostly it's been, we're that small local firm that you like. I think that people would also be really surprised to know that we work nationally with people. So contradicting things sometimes, throw that out there. We do have national clients, but we also really sold ourselves as this boutique firm that gets to know your business and knows what the local landscape is. And that's what's really allowed us to capitalize on this market.
Yeah, so those relationships that you spent all that time building prior to this is really making a big difference now. That makes sense. Has this shifted your strategy at all, outside of the in-person coffee?
Yeah, so I'm a super sassy person, obviously, and I lead our sales team, and there's a certain sass that comes with the way that we do business. And I was talking with the team. I was like, guys, we haven't been this sassy in a digital way because I want people to see that there is some professionalism here. But now that people just see this professionalism, I feel like a boring old firm, and that's just not how I want to be. So a couple of Mondays ago, we sent out an email, and it was just kind of, we wanted to restart our email marketing over, and we had looked at ourselves as a business, and it was so in-person based that we had to make the decision to start doing some of these digital things, start emailing people, start making sure that our social media is great. And every time I repeat this, I laugh. The subject line was, "How are you?" And the preview text was, "Are you nervous? What is it? Are you nervous? Are you high? Do you love this shit? Are you high right now?"
I got that email. Yeah, nervous? I opened it. It's like, what is this?
So we had an 80% open rate on that email, and a 6% click-through rate. So wow. Well above what the normal standard is. And I think it's things like that we're going to start doing, and that's not the first solicited email people have probably gotten. It definitely won't be the last. We're really trying to bring some of our personality as an organization more online. I think there's this idea that you have to be very proper and button up. And don't get me wrong, we have some municipal clients that we do have to be that way for, but everyone else, I'm welcome to my world. It's nice. It's funny. Nobody wants to read the 7 millionth email about COVID-19 and
totally.
how we can help your business. I don't care. You got to do something that really resonates with them. And so we've been doing that. We're launching a podcast as well with the local organization, and just really trying to get everything I say in the course of a day onto paper and out to the public. Because, unless people are seeing our work or seeing our faces, they're not going to remember who we are.
Yeah, I mean, in this way, it sounds like they can get to know your personality a little bit. I would definitely say the email fits your personality. When I got it, I wasn't overly surprised. And it definitely, it stands out. I don't open most of these emails that I get, and I absolutely clicked on that one. So it worked. So what would your advice be to any of the agencies owners who might be listening, just with the current climate and how they can kind of get through this?
I think the biggest thing is understanding your pricing. A lot of the reason that we're able to onboard people right now is because we've taken a very hard look at our margins. We track every single hour of work that goes into something down to the 20-minute. But we also do package deals for things, right? So our social media package may be $450, but if we're putting in too much money, we kind of need to know those things. And because we've collected so much data, we've also been able to know what our like break-even points are. So we're giving away a free month of service to all restaurants. Somebody that we felt was really impacted by this, and had we not, there's a conversation that needs to be had, right? Like, in order to do those big cool things that are going to get your agency out there, you really need to know like what's profitable. Is it going to cost you money in the long term? I mean, I've made a lot of marketing decisions that maybe have ended up costing us money. Like, it happens. But I think that we have to be smart about it. And if you're going to give away a free month, know that they kind of got to sign up for 4 months, because you're not going to recoup that money, or knowing, what your contract should look like. I think I'm a very creative person and I have a business degree, but even though like there's so many operations things that go into running an agency, if you don't have those things down packed and know all those things, like just in general, you're never going to survive, and you're not going to be able to be competitive during this time. If you're charging $500 and we're charging $450, the client wants to save money, and like unless you have this close tangible connection with you, they're going to see the lower price and go with that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it kind of leads me into my next question, which was just, it's something that you wish you knew when you were first starting this agency. I know a lot of people we interact with are new. They might have only 1 or 2 clients and they're figuring out how to scale. And something you touched on was the operational side of it. And I think we have a lot of creatives in this world, and a lot of them forget that that's such an important part of running a business. The creative part's a lot of fun, but you have to have that. So yeah, what's some advice you would share that is something you wish you knew as you were getting started?
You can't do everything. Hire someone to do it.
That's that's fair too.
Like I am really good at making money, not great at spending it, right? Like I'm really good at creating a design and like pouring my heart out into like a runway of posts. Not really good at making sure we track how many hours goes into that, right? So one of the second people I hired was an operations director to kind of take hold of all those things and talk about, where are we spending money? Is this the most effective strategy? Are we spending too many hours on this? How do we improve our processes? When we started, we were doing social media and just posting it to everyone's profiles and things kind of ad hoc. Like, I think one of the biggest decisions we made was to, get Cloud Campaign as a software. I remember when I first was introduced to it, it was on Facebook. I was like, oh, what's this?
I didn't pay him to say this, just so everybody knows. But I'm not going to stop you either.
No, I was like, this is like kind of cool. And I was like, oh, free white label. I was like, oh, there's probably some money involved in this. And like, I remember saying, yeah, I don't know if that's worth it. Like, we could just do this. Yeah, okay. Flash forward like 4 months later. I think it was Andrew who called me, and like I was like that day bitching about how hard of a time I was having scheduling things, and like he's like, "Oh, well, do you want to do blah blah blah?" And I was like, "Actually, that sounds phenomenal. That sounds great." And like I remember being like, "All right, so like we have to like make the decision to spend at least $200 every single month," and like one like, can we do that? Is that the best thing to do? Is this like what's gonna work? And ultimately, obviously, we decided you guys were great. And yeah, I remember when it was me and my friend Melissa, who was our content director at the time. She was like, called me after your demo. She's like, wow, like, yeah, we should do that. And I was like, hey, Christian, like, we can afford this, right? He's like, yeah. And I was like, cool. Easiest, best business decision I probably made.
Good to hear.
If we didn't have all those things in place, we wouldn't understand how to make those decisions and how to really, grow our business.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I think another thing that creative people tend to not be great with is money a lot of the time. And so it does help.
I hate billing.
Yeah.
Man, like, I mean, like, I still do our billing because, like, I got trust issues. But even today, I'm like, God, like, oh, so and so didn't pay. Like, I'll get to that tomorrow. Or, like, I prioritize that work so low that, like, it's like 3 weeks. And I'm like, yo, can I get that money you owe us from last week? Can I, like, blah, blah, blah? Like, we have to start suspending accounts because we haven't realized somebody hasn't paid. And then I'm like, oh, you owe us a lot of money, bro. And yeah, it just sucks. It sucks. It's hard. It's
Yeah,
hard.
no, it's not.
And
That's
that's why
definitely not a fun part.
I need to, like, and we go above and beyond for our clients. How do you make sure that you're billing accurately for all these things? I just created an ad for somebody's email campaign, and like halfway through, I was like, I don't think we charged them for this at all. That sounds like a great thing, and sounds like a great thing for our operations people to handle. Just keep it moving. Throw them down the river.
No, fair enough. So with that, I want to go into kind of a lightning round, just find a bit more about you. So the first question is, what is your favorite book and why?
The Bible. No, I'm just playing. I practice that all day. There's this book called, there are two. There's this book called You Are a Badass. It's a self-help book. So, like, I don't, wow, so many things. But it's really good about, like, kind of finding out, like, what makes you passionate and how to harness that energy. And then the other one it's called The Complete Persepolis. It's actually an animated cartoon novel. Not like anime at all, but like totally like let's say that now.
Thank you for clarifying. Yeah.
It's about a girl who comes of age in Iran and, like, her identity and how she struggles with things. It's super good.
Cool. Yeah. And then do you have a favorite movie?
Oh, White Chicks. With the
White Chicks.
Reds
Okay.
Balloons.
Yeah. The Terry
You
Crews, right?
know,
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna regret saying that, I think, when I hear this, but, like, that's what I'm going with right now.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We won't hold you to it. Any causes that we should know about which are important to you?
So I am really passionate about access to healthcare. My family's been in healthcare for a while. And then obviously I'm gay, if you can't tell that while watching it. That's some issues. But gay rights and the HRC, and we have an organization in Chicago called Howard Brown, and they focus on LGBT healthcare. And combines both of my passions, and I love being able to support them.
Yeah, amazing. And last question, where can people find you and your website and all of that?
Yeah, so you can find us at dmburton.co. That's dmburton.co. You can shoot us an email at admin@dmburton.co, or you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at dmburtonstyle. Still haven't gotten rid of that style part of who we are. And then my name is Darien Marion. It rhymes. I think if you put that into most search engines, you'll get something related to me. Maybe a newspaper article about some very questionable things. But
yeah, I was going to say, be careful of that.
I invite you to read all of the things.
Okay, good.
But yeah.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. I know a lot of people will get a lot of value out of it. This is our first one of these agency interviews, and I'm really excited about it, and I appreciate you being a guinea pig here.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, hopefully we'll talk soon.
All right, talk soon, Ralph.